Let's kick it. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yep.
I call the regular meeting of the Milliken Board of Trustees of May 10th, 2017 to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the town clerk please call for the roll?
Yes, sir. Mayor Whitcup,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Meisner. Here. Trustee Kidd,
Here.
Trustee Austin,
Here.
Trustee Ron Ehrlich,
Here.
Trustee Nick Ehrlich.
Here.
Trustee Burek. Here.
Agenda approval. Does anyone have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Yes, we need to move the tri-state fireworks to next meeting.
Okay.
Mayor, I noticed that the public hearing for the transfer of liquor licenses on the consent agenda. I'd like that to go on the action agenda. Is a public hearing. I think it should be on the action agenda.
Which one is yours? Which one?
Number 5.
Yeah.
Five on action.
Two number 5 was the
Yes.
first one.
It's 1709.
Supposed to be number 4.
Yes. Why didn't I tell you number 5? It's too confusing. Sorry.
We have to have a motion. Shirley, you got,
Excuse me?
do you have the switches and the changes?
I think so. So, yes, I moved the liquor license transfer to the action agenda.
Okay. And then number 4, which is 5.
1709 is being delayed to next meeting.
Right.
That's what
Thank
date?
you.
Any others?
May 24th.
You guys approve them?
Yeah, move to
With the
approve
changes.
with the changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Citizens' comments. Citizens' comment is the point in the meeting where the public is invited to address the town board on items that do not appear on the agenda. All comments should be directed to the town board. There is a limit to a 3-minute limit per speaker. Please state your name and address at the podium. Do I have any citizens' comments?
Lois Honorado, 340 Heidi Lane. I'm already all shook up. But anyway, I just want to show you that I received this award from the Well County Senior Foundation, and it's for the 2017 Service to Senior Citizens Award. And I did receive this Sunday, and I wanted you to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. Any other citizens' comments? Perfect. All right. Moving on. Promotion of Officer Jen Deegan to Sergeant. The Police Chief.
Mayor, members of the board, good evening. So we have completed our sergeant's promotion process. We had 2 candidates test for the position, and unfortunately, we only could choose one. So tonight, I would like to introduce you to the newest sergeant of the Milliken Police Department, Officer Rick Jandegan. Rick brings a wealth of experience to this organization, over 18 years of experience, 5 years supervisory experience, and some in investigations. One of the things I look for in a leader and supervisors is knowledge, maturity, and the ability to gain followership amongst his colleagues, the officers of the organization, because you can't lead without having that followership. So I have full faith and trust in Officer Jandigan that he can create that followership amongst the officers of the police department, and so I want to present him with the sergeant's badge. That's Lieutenant Handel. You get it?
Yeah.
All right, congratulations. Thank you.
Minutes, right? Minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any discussion or comments on the minutes? If acceptable, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of April 26, 2017 Board of Trustees meeting.
Motion approved, Ms. Bennett.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Consent agenda. The use of the consent agenda has been made to expedite board action on routine items. There is no discussion of consent agenda items unless a board member requests an item on the consent agenda be removed for separate discussion and action under the action agenda. Are there any changes in the consent agenda? If none, I'm ready for a motion on the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Yes, Mayor. Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Trustee Lee.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Musner?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Trustee Nick Early?
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
Yes.
Trustee Kidd?
Yes.
Public hearings. I'm gonna run the public hearing right now, so it's done. At this time, I'm gonna open up the public hearing for the transfer of liquor license for Milliken Liquors. And now I'm going to convene as the liquor licensing authority, right?
Mayor Woodcock and members of the board, a liquor license transfer for Milk Liquors has been submitted from James Gardner to Trish and Jeff. I'm sorry, I just forgot your last name. Bach. Of Spikers LLC. They're operating currently under a temporary license that's good for 120 days. I have received their packet of information. I've had it since March 29th, which I have to hold for a month before bringing to you. Everything appears to be in order, and I will be, upon your approval, be submitting this to the Colorado Department of Revenue, Liquor Division. And they're all here to speak if you have any questions. Also in your packet, I provided you a new premise map that will be submitted with their liquor license. I received that yesterday from the box. So it's a little bit of a difference from what it currently was.
comment from the public, or you guys have any questions? No?
Mayor and the board, just for purposes of the record, the only criterion for approval when you're considering a transfer of a liquor license is the criterion of good moral character and character and reputation in the community. And I understand that through the criminal background check, there's no evidence of bad moral character. And so I think it's staff's recommendation that that criterion is met.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, oh.
And do you, what's the background on our background, or what would you?
Yeah, have you run a liquor store before?
No, my wife has businesses that she's run before. She had a health food store in Pueblo for a number of years, and then we just moved up from Denver, and she was an owner of a property management company. I was involved part-time with that. I have some retail experience, but just on the front lines. I've worked for Safeway, King Soopers, done some minor management with those two entities. My background is basically information technology. I've been a software developer for over 30 years, and then we just retired and moved up from Denver to Johnstown. So, John Bach. I go by Jeff, my middle name.
Oh, okay.
Questions for them? No? Square?
No.
Good?
Welcome to town.
Cool?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
I'm good.
Welcome to town.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to know?
No?
Okay.
Good.
No, we're good.
This time I'm gonna close the
Thank
public
you.
hearing. What?
Is there anyone else?
No, wait.
I don't think so.
What?
Okay.
Can I close the public hearing now? No? Maybe?
Was there a sign-up sheet, or was there anyone?
There was a
Nice.
sign-up sheet, but.
Because that's sitting in front of me. Okay.
Good.
I'm gonna close the public hearing at this time.
Mayor, I move to approve the ownership transfer of the retail liquor store license to Spikers LLC located at 811 Broad Street, Milliken, Colorado.
My second.
Town clerk, please call for the vote.
Yes, ma'am. Trustee Kidd?
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Trustee McErlich?
Yes.
Trustee Leroy Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Reesner?
Yes.
Trustee Austin?
Yes.
I'm gonna reconvene as the regular town board of trustees at this time. All right, action agenda item number 2, I guess it would be at this point. Consideration and approval of a proposed agreement with FEI Engineers, Inc. for a Frontier Water Systems pilot study project. The town administrator, Kent Brown.
Mayor, members of the board, we had this as an information item at last meeting's agenda. This will actually be after tab 3 in your books, I think, as far as the professional service agreement with FEI Engineers for the Frontier Water Systems pilot study project. FEI had presented at a work session on April 12th regarding several options on the town's reverse osmosis water treatment plant. As part of the presentation, FEI had recommended a pilot scale study of a biological selenium removal or selenium reduction technology as a possible additional treatment at the reverse osmosis plant. And part of the reason I'm repeating this from last meeting is keep trying to inform the public about what's actually occurring or what we're trying to do at the water treatment plant. Pilot study was proposed that will evaluate the efficacy and the efficiency of Frontier Water Systems biological selenium reduction system, coined Seahawk. Based on existing installations and other pilot studies, the technology has a very likely chance of meeting the effluent selenium concentration that the state requires. And as before, what the state requirement that causes us a problem is not the water that reaches customers' homes. We pump from the wells and you use a reverse osmosis in order to reduce the TDS within the water, and then you have a discharge stream that goes to the river. So 2/3 or about of that goes to customers' homes, and about 1/3 of it goes to the river. You can't put in the river a selenium concentration, which is naturally occurring. And actually what we're putting in the river really isn't that much different what's already in the river itself. But the permit requirement is you got to be better than what's in the river itself. 4 parts per, now Don's going to correct me, but it's 4 parts per billion, not 4 parts per million, correct? 4 parts per billion is the permit limit for selenium concentration in the water. And we were hitting 12 to a little bit more than that, and that's what's in the river currently, just like it is in the wells, because it was very similar. But this technology has a very likely chance of reducing it to below that limit of 4.9, I believe it is, parts per billion on selenium that's required. The pilot study would be completed at the town's reverse osmosis water treatment plant, would be provided by Frontier Water Systems. So there's 2 parts to this. One is the engineering, which is what I'm talking about right now, is FEI is going to do the evaluation of the study and also work with CDPHE, Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, to make sure it meets their criteria, and the pilot study will be set as a foundation for them to approve this technology. The copy of the proposal from Frontier is included as part of the proposal from FEI. Requires a separate agreement. The proposal from FEI establishes not to exceed fee of $44,577. That includes the design and layout of the pilot scale, development and submittal of CDPHE required pilot scale documentation, and then coordination and summary results and recommendation of whether to proceed to a full build out or not. That's what we're getting with what we're paying for here, if the board agrees. And you have a proposed motion for you, and the staff does recommend that we proceed with the professional services agreement. We're still working out the finalization between the attorneys regarding a couple different sentences, but it really has nothing germane to the professional services agreement itself.
Was 1 and 2 tied together? Pilot study and
2 and, the pilot study and then the Frontier Water Systems lease proposal. Yes, those 2 are tied together.
together, so we need 2 motions, or can we do that in one?
I won't talk as much regarding the second one, but we'll have a separate agenda item, yes. But they should have separate motions, yes.
Okay. I move to approve.
Fine.
A professional service agreement between the town of Milliken and FEI Engineers Incorporated for the 2017 water treatment plant improvements blending alternate project in an amount not to exceed $73,400.
That's the wrong one,
Oh,
Katie.
sorry.
I said it was in your tab, Agenda 3. I'm sorry about that. I hope I made that clear.
So,
We'll start reading, Elizabeth.
Read the different motion there, sorry.
okay. I move to approve the professional services agreement between the town of Milliken and FEI Engineers Incorporated regarding Frontier Water Systems pilot study project in an amount not to exceed $44,577, and authorize the town administrator to execute an agreement in the form approved by the town attorney.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Pitt?
Yes.
Trustee Nick.
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
Yep.
Trustee Leon Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Wiesner?
Yes.
There was no, first of all, there was no asking if there was any public comment. Second, and I don't know if this is true, but the has there been a cost analysis of the meeting the standard or not meeting, and with the amount of money it costs to meet the standard as to not meeting the standard, but meeting what is the level that is naturally occurring, that we, is there any analysis between those two parts? First of all, and I still want to reiterate that you asked for no public comment on it, whether it was or wasn't coming. You still have to ask. You did. The town administrator done, the board approved. They did not ask anybody in the public if they had a comment that will remain. And so I think the motion you just passed is null and void and has to be restated after public comment and then vote.
Mayor, if I could just explain in response to your comment about the public comment. There is a public comment portion at the beginning of the meeting, which is for any, no, don't, please don't interrupt me while I'm explaining to you.
Still have to ask
No.
public comment on everything.
You interrupted me, sir. And I'm trying to explain why there is no public comment required for this specific agenda item, which is because there is a general comment section at the beginning of the agenda for any item for which there is not a public hearing required. And so your opportunity was during the public comment section at the beginning of the meeting.
How would I know you didn't do it?
This agenda item is not required.
It's a voted on item. It has to be asked if there is anybody in the public that is yes or
Sir,
no.
that is not required under this board's rules and procedures, nor is it required.
It is always when I was on it. So how can I make a comment on something when I don't know what it is? You know, the thing is, this here doesn't say everything, didn't say what he said. And so the thing is, how should I know if I have a comment or not? I might agree with him, or I might disagree, but I can't make a comment until after the board has listened to the man and not to the public. And so, I'm sorry, but they changed the rules so that if we don't get a comment, and I don't come to very many of these meetings because I'm handicapped, and so I can't make very many meetings. But it's there, when they don't ask for public comment, is anybody good or bad? That's bad.
Well, it's not a noticed public hearing, sir.
And it doesn't have to be a public hearing.
We're just following the procedures the board has adopted.
Well, Mayor Woodcock, if I may, I will answer what I think is a good question asked by Mr. Gardner in the audience, is that we have discussed that with CDPHE as far as meeting the limit within the river and trying to find a different situation of saying, what do we have to meet? And they have allowed a temporary modification, but that's only a temporary modification. And they do not allow, and in fact insisted that if you cannot have a plan for meeting the limit as it is stated, you will not be allowed to operate your plan. And so we've had those discussions with CDPHE, and that is not an option.
That is not a cost analysis.
It doesn't matter what it costs. The state doesn't care what it costs. They basically have set the rules, and we have to follow them. So there is no further discussion with CDPHE regarding that part of the problem, as stated.
If I could, Mr. Town Administrator. Mr. Gardner, it could cost us more to purchase the water than it does, and this pilot study will help us understand if it's going to be feasible to treat the water to the standards or buy it.
We don't know.
I'm sorry, we don't know what.
We don't know if that study will meet standards.
That's why we have to do the study to find out if it will or not. If we don't do the study, we wouldn't know if it would be feasible to put that treatment piece in. Does that answer your question?
No, it's not the same question. The feasibility of the rules instead of the cost of water. The cost of water has nothing.
Yeah, we don't have any control of the rules.
All right, we already voted, so. We're gonna go to action agenda, let's see, what are we on?
2.
Number 2,
Well, 3 technically.
pilot study.
Number 2, consideration and approval of proposed lease with Frontier Water Systems, Inc. as part of the water system pilot project with FEI Engineers.
And this is the second part of the pilot study. This is the lease agreement with Frontier Water Systems for that Seahawk. And I would recommend the board approve the motion and see where we end up as far as the pilot study is concerned.
Any questions? Discussion?
No.
Have a motion?
Move to approve the lease agreement between the town of Milliken and Frontier Water Systems to supply pilot equipment and support services for the pilot study project as per the pilot study proposal for selenium treatment, and authorize the town administrator to execute an agreement in the form approved by the town attorney.
A second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Trustee Lee Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Meisner?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Trustee Nickerlich?
Yes.
Trustee Burak?
Yes.
Trustee Kidd?
Yes. All right, action on agenda item number 3. Approval of a proposed agreement with FEI Engineers, Inc. based on the proposal for a 2017 water treatment plant improvements blending alternative project.
This, again, was a proposal that was brought about based on the work session of April 12th, but also on last meeting on April 26th, as far as an informational item. The board had directed staff to prepare 2 different proposals, both regarding the prior agenda items and then also this as a blending alternate project. Being able to use the 2 wells that are a part of the reverse osmosis system and being able to set up a blending situation to blend it with our other water sources. As part of that presentation on April 12th, FEI proposed an option for making adjustments to the filtration at the plant and then blending with other water sources that the town currently uses. At the informational item on the April 26th meeting, there was board discussion to obtain a professional services agreement to prepare plans and specifications. And then also obtaining CDPH approval for this process, which is not a simple process. But the plans, the proposal for the plans and specifications is included as an exhibit to this agreement. The proposal establishes a not-to-exceed fee of $73,477. This amount includes the design, bid, and construction phases of the project. And the reason why we're going down 2 prongs is we have to get somewhere with one of these. There is an option as we go through the blending alternate. If the other one looks like it will go, we don't have to execute all the way. We can get those plans and specifications done, but we don't have to go to bid or construction. So there are different parts to this proposal. It doesn't mean we need to follow through on all of them. But we do need to proceed, and that's what was the board's direction, was we need to moving down multiple paths to solve this problem we're facing with the reverse osmosis water treatment plant and get it back operational, one way or the other. So that's what this proposal does. It allows us to start down a separate path that at least could be somewhat operational. You understand that the volume that we'd be able to gain from this blending alternate project does not equal what we could under the Frontier Water Systems part of it. Because you end up with a 4-to-1 or a 5-to-1 ratio of other water sources versus this water source in this blending alternate project. So the amount of water you actually gain from it is not equal to the Frontier Water Systems, but it's better than paying either City of Greeley or Central Well and to have that water source actually be beneficial to us again. So that's what was presented to the board, both from FEI and from staff that have looked at it, and presented for your discussion and approval. And it was the board's direction to at least prepare the presentation to you for approval.
Questions, discussion?
This is the one where we're gonna build that short pipe, right?
Mhm.
It's the engineering for that.
The engineering for that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm clear.
Okay, I move to approve professional services agreement between the town of Milliken and FEI Engineers Incorporated for the 2017 water treatment plant improvements blending alternate project in an amount not to exceed $73,477, and authorize the town administrator to sign the agreement in a form approved by the town attorney.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for the vote.
Yes, sir. Trustee Kidd?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Reesner?
Yes.
Trustee Burak?
Yes.
Trustee Leon Ehrlich?
Yes.
Trustee McCarley?
Yes.
Action item number 5. Consideration and approval of Resolution 17 TAC 12, approving the intergovernmental agreement for treated water services. I wouldn't even sit down.
Mayor and members of the board, this is a result of discussions that have gone on over the last year or two, 2 years, between the City of Greeley and the town of Milliken. Our agreement with the City of Greeley for the portion of our treated water that comes from the City of Greeley, there was a 20-year agreement in 1999. It expires in 2019, and there was, within the original agreement, there is no renewal without an additional agreement. So that's what we started working on in 2015. This is a result of those discussions, and it will allow us to keep using at least a portion of our water from the City of Greeley, which is important as far as, because we're in a river valley between two hills. It would be more expensive for us to establish the infrastructure to not have City of Greeley, and especially at this point. There are some benefits to the town of Milliken in this agreement. It extends it for another 20 years, and it does include an option for renewal. So it doesn't have an end date, or doesn't have to have an end date. There is notification if they want to cut us off at some point, but they give us enough notification, enough years to get that handled. Amongst other considerations, the amendment was written to include the raw water requirements that are clarified from the original agreement. The rates will be based upon the City of Greeley's cost of service model, including the cost of service for peak demand measurements, which is sometimes becomes a problem for us as far as our peak demand measurements. But the new amendment also includes a standard for system development charges. So as we grow, if it becomes a choice for us that we want to use, the new addendum to the agreement allows us a set rate for adding additional water on an annual basis. Now, we can do it on a temporary basis, but to increase the limit that we have currently, which is 442 acre feet, 445 is through Central Well, 442 is through City of Greeley. If we want to increase it, there's a set for the system development charges that are involved with that. That's something that has not been set in the agreement previously. And The couple other things that was discussed in the meantime with City of Greeley did not pass muster. So we couldn't get that involved trying to have just a completely set rate. They still wanted the service model, service demand model. This is one where we do not have as many leverage points as City of Greeley. But I think this is a fair agreement for what we receive from the City of Greeley. Recommend approval.
Any questions, discussions?
You did a good job renegotiating that. Thank you.
It was a longer process, yes.
I know.
No questions?
I move to approve Resolution 17-12, a First Amendment to the intergovernmental agreement for treated water service between the City of Greeley and the Town of Milliken.
Do I have a
Second.
This is Katie. Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Yes, sir. Trustee Kay?
Yes.
Trustee Nick Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
Yes.
Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Trustee Lee Langerloh?
Yes.
Action agenda item number 6. Consideration and approval for professional service agreement with Employer Solutions Group to provide HR consulting services.
Mayor, members of the board, this is consideration and approval for a professional service agreement with Employee Solutions Group to provide HR consulting services on a regular basis for 2017. This was started as a discussion topic during the 2017 budget process in the fall. The staff contacted a number of firms and identified 2 companies that provided proposals, formal proposals. After consultation with each proposer, it was determined that Employer Solutions Group provide a proposal that will offer the town a range of services which can be flexible, coordinated, and specific to the town of Milliken's need. And this initial proposal will provide a sound starting point to meet the board's direction on this function for the town's organization. So this is a starting point. It will be flexible as it goes forward. The proposal has per number of hours and then a certain amount above that for a number of hours. And we'll just have to see how much resources it actually takes. But the town board had approved in the budget, included a budget line item of $40,000 for HR professional consulting services. This estimate, since we'll be starting in May, will be far less than that. And but like I said before, it's going to be a matter of what happens in practice. So we'll see as it goes along. So. And stand for questions, I guess.
Are we getting close on our P&P manual so it works in conjunction with our HR company?
Yes, we have received a rough draft from Employer Solutions Group. They started that a couple months ago, and we have a final rough draft now, reviewing it, and we should have that very shortly to start having the board review it and legal review it and all that other jazz.
Thank you. I move to approve professional services agreement between the town of Milliken and Employer Solutions Group in a form approved by the town attorney to provide human resources consulting services and direct the town administrator to sign the same.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Yes, sir. Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Trustee Lee Langerloh?
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
No.
Trustee Nick Ehrlich?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Meisner?
Yes.
Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Trustee Kidd?
No. And the reason I'm voting no is because we did discuss it during the budget session, and we did approve the $40,000, but there were other stipulations in there that that's the reason I voted for it in the budget. And those stipulations didn't follow through.
Action agenda item number 7. Ordinance 747 of the town of Milliken approving an oil and gas lease, no surface occupancy with Wolf Resources Holding LLC.
Mayor and the board, Linda Mishow, Town Attorney. Even though Kent Brown drafted the board cover memorandum, I'm going to be presenting this item for you tonight. It is an ordinance because it is a lease term of town property, your mineral interest for over a year, and under state law, that is required to be done by ordinance as opposed to a resolution or motion. So that's why it's being presented through the vehicle of an ordinance, and it is for a 3-year term. Kent, can you help me out on the location of the properties?
The two properties, it's regarding this building we're in currently.
And
Town
across the
Hall.
street,
Yeah.
but there's no surface occupancy, obviously. They can't disturb any of the surface of the lots, but they can access the mineral interest through directional drilling. And that's specifically stated in paragraph 19 of the lease. Which says that the lessee shall have no right to access the surface of the described lands under the terms of this lease for any purpose. So we wanted to be sure of that before entering into this lease. And this also entitles the town to approximately $4,100 lease signing bonus or compensation for the term of this lease.
Do we know where the wellhead is going to be?
I don't know that. Kent, do you?
No, on the west, on the east side of town,
Off 25.
off 25. Is, if they go forward with it, then that's what this lease is. It's the same one that we had. This is from Wolf Resources. We originally had a lease proposal from Grizzly Resources. But it's regarding the same action. This provided a better proposal according to the legal review of it.
Questions?
I'll move to approve of ordinance 747, approving the oil and gas lease with Wolf Resources LLC and direct mayor to sign.
Second.
Town clerk, please call for a vote.
Yes, sir. Mayor Woodcock?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Meisner?
Yes.
Trustee Burek?
Yes.
Trustee Kidd?
Yes.
Trustee Lee Ehrlich?
Yes.
Trustee Austin?
Yes.
Trustee McElroy?
Yes.
Nothing in the discussion agenda. Informational agenda. Presentation on the grain elevators.
I do have the charts on hard copy if anyone would like to look at those instead of having to crank and look around. Does anyone want to copy the charts?
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, it should be on the,
While we're waiting.
there it is, right there.
While we're waiting, I specifically invited Megan. She's not here.
You can talk to Mr.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, excuse accepted. Thank you. Quibbling is what we call it in the military. Okay. Well, good evening, Mayor and members of the board. Again, my name is Marty Summer, and first of all, I wanted to thank you and just say thanks for your time. I appreciate it very much. Before I get started with the presentation, I would like to introduce my better half, Pamela Summer.
Hello.
Hi.
And then my friend and business associate, Peter Hunziker. Mr. Hunziker is here again. All right. So again, Gun Barrel Distilling Company is the name of the company. Here's a quick overview of the topics that we're going to be covering this evening. So we'll just go over a quick overview of the company itself to kind of highlight some of the products and things that we want to bring to bear. We'll do a quick building design review. We'll look at some near-term and long-term goals, and then we'll finish the presentation up with any questions or comments and any follow-up that needs to occur after this meeting. All right, so you can see the overview. We have the executive summary, the company mission statement, and the legal structure for the company at this time. I'm not going to read those to you. You guys can go through those. But what I did want to verbalize is that we are pushing out, and we do have potential customers already in 3 states that are interested in our products. And as we go through some of our short-term and long-term goals, you guys will see some of the distribution efforts that we want to start here locally, expand out into Colorado, expand out into the Midwest, and then eventually have a national franchise. All right, so that's a quick overview of the company. Real quick look at the design review. So this is the mill as it sits today with some updated building materials. You can see the 14 parking spots that were drawn up. We did use a professional engineering service for these surveys. One of the critical items and I guess decision points that we'll need is that Ethel Street, if we can perhaps use that Ethel Street as a parking venue with the limited space that we're going to have. One of the things that's not highlighted on this graphic is the coffee shop that we want to place on the south end of the building. It's not very well graphically depicted, but I wanted to allude to the coffee shop and its location with regards to the actual building itself. The distillery would be on the far north end, and our intent would be to leave as much of the structure intact for historical purposes, but all of the bins and all of the bins that are currently inside, we would like to pull down those bins and restructure that wood. You can see the parabola, or excuse me, not parabola, the
Tall thing?
no,
No.
pergola. Thank you, honey. There you go, my better half. So the pergola is an example of some of the materials that we want to repurpose and pull from inside and actually add to the beautification of the building itself. And you guys will see that in a couple of images here in the next couple minutes. All right, so that was version 1. Here's version 2. Version 2, the biggest change that you guys can see is the upper deck. On that 3rd floor, we would like to have an outdoor seating area. We feel it would provide a really nice view of the Front Range and the town of Milliken itself, and would be a really attractive feature to bring people and resources into the town. Again, not a lot has changed with the exterior or the interior of the building other than that deck on the 3rd floor. And then finally here on version 3, you can see the deck on the 3rd tier all the way up at the top, and the main seating area or outdoor seating area would be on the 2nd floor, a little bit further to the south of the building. All right, and then as far as interior designs, thoughts that we had, again, we would love to repurpose a lot of the original materials that are in the building. You can see the different illustrations of brick that are used in these graphics. The tall ceilings in that graphic to the upper left. And it would be great to be able to put a nice window towards the north to highlight the fermenters and the distillers that we would have on the north end of the building. And obviously a nice bar, repurposing a lot of that wood from the interior around the bar itself. And then finally, on the image that's all the way to the right, you would like to repurpose some of that corrugated metal that's on the outside of the building and give it a nice cleaning, a nice wash, and then repurpose some of that exterior building material and put it on the inside. Again, highlighting the use of the wood to repurpose that material to keep that historical context with the building itself. All right, just a quick overview of the goals. You can see our short-term goals, and then our long-term, 1 to 5, and then 5 to 10. Again, coffee shop would be a initial effort to help bring in financial resources to start rehabbing the building itself. Obviously, funding for a Wounded Warrior-like organization, and you can see some of those organizations highlighted on the far left portion of the slide. Again, as we previously alluded to, we'd like to grow distribution channels in Colorado, and then in the long term, 5 to 10 years, grow those distribution channels into the Midwest and then nationally, and then work to open a regional veterans homeless shelter. And that's all I have for you this evening. Are there any questions?
So what are you thinking about using on the outside of the building? If you remove the metal exterior,
Yeah.
what type of material?
There's a myriad of different materials that can be used. I think we're gonna sit down with the engineers from this Front Range CAD service that we've been using for these graphical depictions of what we think the building, will look like. So I don't have, the bottom line is I don't have a good answer for you on exactly what materials we're gonna use.
Well, I like the designs, they're very nice.
Do you have any ideas what you would like to see? Like, right now, it's pretty natural. You guys
Just-
have any, just cloth siding, flat?
It's kind of in keeping with that area. We have the siding sort of on the police department.
Absolutely.
The brick, so just kind of continue.
Have it
the flow.
blend in nicely.
I didn't see any place for a mechanical bull.
Always thinking about yourself, aren't you?
You know what happens? Every military town I've been in, it's got a bar with a mechanical bull. I mean, come on.
We'll put it on that deck
Noted.
outside.
Noted, Mr. Mayor.
In his previous years, he wouldn't be able to ride.
What?
All right, if there's no additional questions, again, I want to thank you for your time. And these are the topics we've covered this evening. That's all I have for you. And I look forward to future interactions with the mayor and the board. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very nice.
Next thing on the informational agenda is gonna be a presentation of
Nope.
what?
Nope,
What? They
cancel.
canked it?
Yep.
Yep, they want to postpone it.
Well, thanks for the memo.
I took that one.
All right. The time is 7:28, and the Board of Trustees meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.